First of all, I want to say that we are mourning, we are grieving, and we are praying for Erica Kirk and her two beautiful children. We are also praying for Charlie's parents, his father and his mother, and those at Turning Point USA because of this hideous assassination of an American patriot and hero. I also want to tell the radical left, if you think you're going to silence us, all you're going to do is spread us further. We are not going to back down. We are not intimidated by you, and you will not silence us. This is shut up in our bones. We will still herald biblical principles, conservative values, and that God designed for male and female to get married and produce a family. Now, I would also like to say for all the ones on the right, the pundits on the right that would like to try to say that the problem is also us on the right, I have news for you as well. You're a coward if you say that. We're not the problem. We're not the one that's taking guns and shooting our political opposition. We are not the ones that's trying to cause harm to the radical left. As I've been saying over and over again in my previous episodes, and now it's became made manifest really clearly that we are not the ones, we are not the hateful ones, we are not the bigots, the radical left is. And it's time that the right understands that we are not going to physically fight this battle, but we must intellectually, we must spiritually, and we must politically fight this battle, and we must win. The radical left is dangerous, and we don't fight like they fight. We believe in free speech like Charlie did. They can't handle that. The only speech they care about is the speech that propagates their lies and their agenda. They can't handle free speech. You know why? Because they have losing ideas. Their ideas are losers. They can't win in the market of free speech and free ideas. They can't win when it comes to actual right values and principles because their ideas are hideous. They're despicable. They're destroying many in our country. They're destroying the youth of our country. And thank God there has been a turn back to some normacy in our country as President Trump was elected President of the United States of America. The radical left had deteriorated much of our nation and has created some of the most vicious, vile monsters there are. I don't want to hear one more person try to convince us that we're bigots or we are the problem. Radical left, you're the issue. You're the one that's taking up arms. And it's amazing to me that you're the ones that want to preach against bearing arms. You're the ones that want to preach gun control, but you're the ones taking guns and trying to assassinate us. But if you think that we're going to shut our mouth, you have another thing coming. We're not going to be silent. We're going to echo it louder. And now there's going to be more people spread across many parts of our world that's going to stand up to this monstrous, hideous, demonic ideology that you support. The difference between you and us is we love humanity. We hate your ideas. You, on the other hand, hate us and want to drive us out. We pray for you, and you try to eliminate us. But the right must understand that we are at spiritual, ideological, and political war. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We don't take weapons and try to end their life. Instead, we try to take it to the ballot box and we try to raise up a generation. We try to reach people on the streets and we try to raise up people into godly principles and values and teach them that the ways of God are much better than the ways of the world, and it doesn't create monsters like you've seen. And for all you hideous liars out there that are gaslighting the general public and trying to tell us that this was a far right person, let me just tell you, far right people don't write anti-fascist statements, engrave anti-fascist statements and bullets and kill the lesser right and call them fascists. And they also don't date transgenders and try to eliminate the person that's preaching against transgenderism. So all you gaslighters keep lying and lose at the ballot box as we'll take more elections because the American people aren't that stupid. You done lied to them enough that your cover's been blown. They're not that dumb. And when American people wake up to it, they usually fight back. And when I say fight back, that means at the ballot box, not like you monsters. Now, I'm praying for the radical left that we can save as many of them as we possibly can. But the truth of the matter is, there's a poison, there's a sickness in our nation. Anti-God principles, or lack thereof, is destroying a generation. Moving away from biblical principles and biblical values and trying to underwrite and rewrite the history of the United States of America is destroying young people and making them radical monsters. And it's not time for our churches to be silent, and it's not time for patriots to be silent. It's time that we take a stand. It's time that we understand that this is a serious matter. This is serious business that we're dealing with. The radical left has been spending much time trying to deteriorate our country from within. It's about time that the right stands up for what we believe in without being ashamed and without fear. You see, that bullet was trying to intimidate us, to try to silence us, to try to shut us up. We don't let them win. We don't let them run us out. You see, in crisis, either leaders or cowards are born. COVID-19 showed that. This is going to show that. We're going to find out who's true leaders and who's cowards, who are going to shut up in silence, or who are the ones that's going to come out and say, we still believe in the Bible. We still believe in God. We still believe in conservative values. We are still patriotic. And you will not silence us by your intimidation. They want to call us the hateful. And yes, we are very frustrated. And yet I pray for the monsters. I pray that mercy can be extended and they can find God before judgment comes. And if you're wondering where I stand on my Christian values, I pray that the assassin, I pray that somehow he finds Jesus before execution day comes. But I also believe in Romans chapter 13 that our government was actually established by God so that they punish evildoers, that they bear the sword of judgment, so that the lawless get punished and the lawful are rewarded. So therefore, we have a civilized society. I pray somebody in the prison can reach us so, but we must do something about the hideous crimes that are taking place. You see what happens when the radical left, the soft on crime sissies, get in office and they want to allow these people to run rampant and run wild in our streets. And all of a sudden they feel bad for the murderer while there's a Ukrainian refugee that's fled from her country to get to freedom and safety that gets executed, cold blood murder by a monster in the radical left. Oh, they're sympathetic. They don't have a problem with fentanyl pouring over our borders. They don't have a problem with all the illegal gang activity. They don't have a problem until the Maryland man gets sent gets sent to a prison over out of this country. You see, they have more support for the lawless than the lawful. You know why? Because radical Marxism always has. They like to uproot the system, and Marx said that it's going to take some level of force. When you believe in Marxist ideology, you begin to dehumanize humanity. And yet you wear the cloak of saying that we're humanists. We're trying to elevate humanity while you actually dehumanize. You dehumanize them from the womb all the way to the grave. And let me remind you, the party that doesn't care about the rights of the unborn is a party that will not care about any of your rights. And obviously, they don't even care about your life. And yet the whole time they'll use AI to try to twist the story and they'll try to gaslight you and lie to you. We're not that dumb. If you think you can keep doing that, I was listening to Cenk Unger, one of the most radical, insane people there is in the media today, sitting there having a debate with Dave Rubin and some of those, and trying to actually twist it and say, Dave, you're trying to cause harm on me. You're trying to call for violence on me. You know why? Because he's losing. And when the radical left loses, they resort to violence. It's a sign that we're winning. I'm praying for Erica Kirk, and I want her to know that she's an American patriot and hero as far as I'm concerned. And those two babies, we're praying that God will bless them and they'll be raised up to be American heroes and patriots as well, and God-fearing Bible believers. You see, we're not buying your lies and we're not buying your psycho manipulation. You're the side that always wants to rewrite history to try to demonize godly principles. We've seen this playbook. It's in the book of Judges. The enemy of Israel and Judah, the king began to rewrite the history. It's the same old playbook. It's the same old dirty, dirty, filthy woman in another dress. They want to call us bigots while they're bigots. They want to call us racist while they're racist. They want to call us fascists while they're fascists. They want to call us whatever while they're Marxist evil ideologies are driving their young people to assassinate good law abiding citizens that only wanted free speech and dialogue and debate. The market of free ideas. But the table of reasoning has become the table of hate and murder today for the radical left. While this young man was messed up with all these shoot 'em up video games. And we're supposed to believe that he's a far right that killed Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was less right than he is. Give me a break. It's time for the conservatives to realize that we don't play by their rules. I even listened to some of my heroes on the right, the pundits in the conservative media that went out and said, well, if you're a conservative and you're using these rhetoric and you're doing these things, you're the problem too. No, we're not. The problem is that we want to hide in a corner and let them make them demonize us until the point that we begin to feel like we can't say things. You have to understand that they want to. Kirk and Matson wrote this playbook, the War Room Playbook, when they were selling homosexuality to America. You know what they said? All they have to do is call us Hitler, call us fascists, call us radicals. And so that way, we don't want to be claimed as radicals. We don't want to be claimed as Nazis and fascists. And so we'll begin to soften up and we'll begin to let down on our standards and we'll let down on our values so we seem more sensible and more reasonable so we don't get deemed these things because, dear God, we won't ever want anybody to call us any of these things. And you know what happened? We began to get on the slippery slope into a dystopian hell. And they learned how to manipulate us. They learned how to play their tricks to get into our mind. But there's got to be the Elijah type that says, King Ahab, we're not the problem. You're the problem. Your disobedience and disorder nature against God's word and God's commandments and your lack of any actual principles is the problem. We are not the problem. We got to quit letting the left get in our head and we got to quit letting the left silence us. If they can go out in their streets and wave all their flags, we have a God given right to speak too. Freedom of speech is not one sided. They think it is, it's not. We have the right to speak too. And if we don't, we're going to lose a generation. We're going to have a generation of young people who are too scared to talk, too scared to speak. In this generation, we don't need cowards. We need people to rise to the hour and to challenge and begin to speak. We need Jeremiah's that says the country has become so wicked that I'm being called a radical, treasonous person for speaking biblical principles. That's how crazy it's gotten. I think I'm going to forbear, but it's shut up in his bones to the point that he says, I can't forbear from speaking. What's inside you is going to come out of you. We need to get this deep down inside of us. We love this country. We love America. We love conservative values. And most of all, we love the God of the Bible. Because in crisis, we'll either become cowards or we become leaders. COVID-19 proved that to us. And it's time that the conservative side of the aisle quits letting the left take over our pulpits and quit taking over our institutions and quit taking over our education system. It's time that we quit letting them intimidate us into a corner. We need to go out and we need to continue to speak. You know why there was so many young people coming to the conservative side of the aisle? One of the biggest reasons President Donald Trump got elected is because Charlie Kirk went right down into the lion's den and wasn't afraid to debate and speak and dialogue with them. And many people were won. And there's many people being won to this side after his assassination. Charlie Kirk was an American patriot, an American hero that was executed because not only because of his conservative principles, but because of his biblical principles, his biblical beliefs, his belief that God exists, his belief that God wanted us to have families and produce children, his teachings against transgenderism and different things of that nature. I'm telling you, this is more than a political fight. This is a spiritual war, and we must treat it that way. We don't shake hands and compromise with radicals that want to take our hand after we shake their hand and drive us over the cliff with them into a dystopian madness. And then you got TMS NBC that fires, that goes and fires, what's his name? It's probably not even worth knowing, to be honest with you, but I'll give it to you anyways. Matthew Dowd. But the truth of the matter is, Matthew Dowd only spoke those things after Charlie Kirk's death and blamed Charlie Kirk for his own death. Matthew Dowd only said that because PMSNBC has been producing that and propagating those lies and incentivizing those lies. Actually, they did an injustice to Matthew Dowd from their position because they're the problem. Matthew Dowd thought he was doing exactly what their network believed was okay. The only reason they did that is because they were forced to, and now they'll begin to go silent for a little while, but they'll be back. They'll be back. And I pray if you're on the radical left, you'll get a wake up call and repent of your ignorance. Repent of these evil ideologies that are producing monsters. Let me just remind the radical left and the right, because you know what? There's some on the right that want to pander to them. We are not the problem. We're not the ones. Nobody was burning down the city. No one was stealing Louis Vuitton purses. Nobody was causing businesses to be shut down and burned down and destroyed. Nobody was rioting in the streets. Nobody, there was no vengeance taking place. There was no vigilante that was taking place because our side's different. And so I'm not pandering to them. I'm not going to speak all the talking points because that's what expected of us. That's why we're in this mess, because we let them control us. No, we need to stop that. We can't let them control us anymore. It must end. We're not the one that is making a hero out of Luigi Mangione as he killed in a cold-blooded murdered a CEO of United Healthcare right downtown in the streets of Manhattan, New York, and make him a hero. It's not our side that's doing that. It's the radical left that's doing that. I don't want anybody to try to tell us that we need to be silent on these issues. We need to call it out for what it is. Their ideas are evil. I have people that vehemently disagree with me. I absolutely love them. I absolutely adore them. I do anything I can for them. Absolutely anything I can for them. But at the same time, the ideologies are taking us further and further into a dangerous position. And you know what happens? It's the devious nature of a sliding scale. And let me explain what I mean. You see this here? Once upon a time, this was the center. But the radical left has gone so far left that now what was center seems to be far right. And they begin to try to intimidate us and make us feel like we're far right. We need to be able to speak and bring it back to where it was. You know why they assassinated Charlie Kirk? Because they're losing. You know why they tried to assassinate our president? Because they're losing. It's a sign that they're losing. You know why Cenk Unger couldn't have a rational conversation and had to go use a shtick that, oh, you're trying to cause harm on me. And he sounds like a buffoon doing it. It's because they're losing. So you know what we do? We keep winning. We keep praying. We keep going to the ballot box. We keep reaching people, bringing them to biblical principles, godly principles, conservative principles. We teach them about the value of family. We teach them about the value of the Bible. You know what we do? We take back our institutions. That's what we do. You know what we do? Quit letting the left manipulate us. That's what we do. Somebody said that we agree on 80 to 90% of the things. I believe that because I have friends that lean more left and we love each other. We take care of each other. I agree with that. Most of us are just trying to live our lives. I agree with that. The problem is the ideas keep sliding the scale further and further into a dangerous place. We're not careful, we're entering into a dangerous era. But let me tell you the beautiful side of that too. The Bible tells us where sin doth abound, grace doth much more abounds. We're also entering a time that there can be great spiritual awakening. I want to be on the front lines of that. I love this nation. I love the right of free speech. I love what Charlie Kirk was doing. I like dialogue. I like debate. I like passionate debate even. And then afterwards, you know, Charlie Kirk did the same thing most of us do. Shake hands. Say I love you. I respect you. I'm praying for you. I have people that are trying to tell me that this was a far right extremist, gun fanatic. They're using lies to try to come after our guns while they seem not to have a problem with guns. Let me ask you a question. Was it a far right conservative that shot up those Minneapolis children? Or was it a transgender? And now we're finding out that this shooter was dating a transgender, killing the guy that doesn't believe in transgenderism. Oh, but we're the haters. We're the intolerant ones. I've been telling you for a long time, it's becoming more made manifest that the intolerant party is the radical left. They always been the party of intolerance. They were the party of slavery. They were the party of segregation. They're the party of they're the party of reverse racism, and they're the party of violence. We are not perfect. We don't claim to be perfect, but our ideas bring a greater good. If you think that physical force is going to stop true from marching on, you're sadly deceiving yourself. All you will do is make the strong stronger and push them to voice out like never before. Conservative right, quit letting them get in our head. Stop it. Don't let them sell these lies to us anymore. It's time that we believe in this truth and stand for it. What about the TMZ folks that were celebrating? So, and they want to come out and lie to us. They're out there trying to expose celebrities as and their lies, and now they're lying to us. These people in TMZ was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and I was told, "Oh, this is a lone wolf. This is a lone wolf." It's amazing to me how many lone wolves the radical left has. I mean, you have all kinds of lone wolves, and I suppose that the people that are cheering the death of Charlie Kirk are lone wolves as well. Really, I guess the people that are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk are all far right people as well. Really, if there has ever been a time that we should be praying, if there has ever been a time we need to return to biblical values, if there has ever been a time we need to clean the family, if there's ever been a time we need to go back to the founding principles of our nation, it's now. We need free speech in America, and we can't let the left silence us. I honor the legacy of Charlie Kirk. Somebody told me those two beautiful babies will not know what it's like to grow up with their father. My response to that was and is, you're right, and that grieves me. But let me tell you what they can grow up with, knowing that their daddy was an American patriot and hero and a legend. I'd rather die a legend than live a coward. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, a man that doesn't have something to die for is not fit for living. So my question is, do we really believe this and are we fit for living? Obviously, Charlie Kirk was, and we need to be as well. My prayers are with Erica Kirk and those beautiful babies, Charlie's parents. And I want to say this may be controversial to some. I don't care. I'm praying for the assassin's parents and family as well. From what I can see, it sounds like they're pretty good folks. Sometimes kids go wrong. If that's you, Sorry, I hurt for you. My prayers are with you as well. If I sound a little feisty, it's because sometimes that's what hell keeps me from crying. And I also want to stir up in the heart of of the right to not let the radical left get in our head anymore. Don't let it. We are not wrong. They are. There is still good and there's still evil. And our ideas are good and their ideas are evil. And the fruit of that is the evidence. America, I love you. I'm praying for you. To the Kirk family, thank you for being American heroes and patriots. I love you. I'm praying for you. God bless you.